We're going with the Julie.
Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us, from all of us here at the ASAP Network.
What is going on, everyone? This is Nate the Great coming to you live from the All Sports All Plays Network. This is Real Talk with Nate, Kenny, and Jay. How are the both of you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Almost made it through the week. But we can't end it without talking some football and talking some basketball. So ready to get to it.
Yeah. Jay?
I'm good, man. With a couple technical difficulties, had to rock them out real quick, but ready to talk some sports, man. Ready to get into it today. How about yourself, Nate? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. This is the third show in a row, so
hey, you gotta grind sometimes. It makes the best out of us. It makes the best out of us. But let's go ahead and hop right up into it, man. Let's go ahead and hop right up into it this week. A lot of stuff going on out there. I guess it's turned into a real talk tradition. We start football first. So let's hop off. We seen Julian Edelman this week announce his retirement. Wonderful career. Really brought back the importance of the slot receiver and what he means to a team. Now, the question is, as decorated as his career has been, I mean, we know his history. Is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer? Has he done enough in that position? Because he's not a number one. Has he done enough to claim his fame in the Hall of Fame? Nate, I'll go with you first. What you think?
I don't think he should be first round.
Okay.
If you put him, say, if I think he should be a Hall of Famer, yes, but I don't think he should be a first round Hall of Famer, a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
But you think he got the credentials to be there?
Yeah, I do. I just don't think it's good enough to be put in automatically. Josh doesn't think he should be a Hall of Famer.
Okay, Josh, he's a product of Thomas. I really want to hear what you have to say about that. If Hines is not a Hall of Famer, Edelman's not. Now, Suggs, I can understand that.
That's a fair point.
I can understand that because Hines was, man.
Yeah.
Hines
was and he was a number one. He was a number one receiver at one point. And to me, that's why Edelman is not a Hall of Famer. To me, he was always the other guy. He never was the guy. And he benefited, whether it's, Randy Moss, the list goes on and on. He was never the guy. Really, it was the tight ends. Even, after Moss, it was the tight ends. It was Gronk and it was, Aaron Hernandez, who were option A and option, 1 and 2. And he kind of benefited from that. So I just don't think, and especially, considering how T.O. had to wait to get in and with his credentials, Like, there's no way. Definitely not. If he gets in, he definitely should not be on the first ballot. There's no way he should be first ballot. But for me, I just think he's just not. He's in the, as they say, the Hall of Very Good. He's just not the. He's not the. You know what I'm saying? He's
He
not
got
the
an
elite.
invitation to the ceremony.
Yeah.
He didn't even make it.
You know, he had a great. You know, he had a great year. You know, he had some really good years.
Hey, put
I think he had.
back up.
Yeah, put that back up there.
And see,
No,
and
yeah.
see,
That's what I'm saying.
where-
Like he had some moments. He had some moments, but I don't think he had seasons where he just tore up the league. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, he's a slot receiver. He's by no means is he a first receiver, is he a first option. But he is the only receiver only slot receiver in the past 2 decades where I would be like, we could use him as a first option. Because Edelman and Wes Walker to me are one and the same. And I just believe with those two being on the field, and you got to have an Aaron Rodgers, you got to have a Tom Brady, you got to have a Peyton Manning, you got to have one of those style of guys to really utilize them to their best potential. So I get your stance on that as well, Kenny. They're products. John said that as well. But at the same time, Wes Walker is, which he said as well, clutch as heck. And the Super Bowls, the different things that Wes has put together in his resume, I think it's hard to look over him. Now, bringing up a Hines, you know, yeah, now you take a step back and you look at the playing field.
I agree with you, Josh.
I know. Yeah, exactly. He needed a Tom Brady. He needed an Aaron Rodgers. He needed a Peyton Manning. He needs those type of individuals. Also, a lot has to do with the coach.
Mm-hmm.
A lot has to do with his coach. He knew where to put him on the field, move him around. Let's move you over here so we can get this little bubble that's, you know, open in this zone. So he got the credentials. I would never be upset if he was. Does he make it is the question. I don't know. I don't think so.
I would put him probably around a borderline Hall of Famer only because I was impressed with what I saw. His Tom Brady's last year in New England. I was impressed with what I saw that year. It's the only reason why I would put him as borderline Hall of Famer.
I mean,
well, I think Wes Walker had more impressive numbers than Edelman, and you know, of course, I don't have them in front of me. But Wes Walker had over 100 catch. I know he had. I think he had multiple 100 catch seasons in New England. So I don't know. I can't recall if Edelman had multiple 100 catch seasons.
Well, let's see. We had Wes Walker had 0 100 catch seasons.
Really?
Hold on. Really? No, I'm not. No,
it can't be.
Wrong guy. Let's see.
Okay. You're looking at Wesley Walker?
Yeah, they gave me Wesley.
Yeah. So that's the Jets guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He was good too.
Yeah, he was. Just didn't last long. Oh yeah, Torrey Holt is definitely better than Edelman. No question about it.
Oh yeah, but see, when you get into guys like, there's some guys out there that I think that it's a shame they're not in the, you know, that it took them long. Like when you talk about a T.O., I think that was a blackball. That's a blackball type thing.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. Reggie Wayne. Wayne is better than Edelman to me.
But you got to also look at who was in their groupings. Who was on the field at that time when Torrey Holt was on the field? Joe Horn, Chad Johnson, Terrell Owens. So you got to climb the ladder to get in.
Absolutely.
You can't have a whole season's worth of players in the Hall of Fame. It ain't gonna work because that means nobody.
And he can't just walk again. He can't just walk into the Hall of Fame when guys that have better numbers than him had to wait.
So he had 5 out of 6 seasons with over 100 receptions, and he had 5.
This is Walker or Edelman?
This is Walker. He had 5 out of 6 seasons with over 1,000 yards receptions.
That's big time.
Yeah, and then we look over to Edelman, and we got Edelman 2 seasons with over 100 yards receptions. He had 98 once, and then he had only 3 seasons with 1,000 yards.
That's what I'm saying. No, you're not a Hall of Famer.
It's the clutchness, though. It's the playoff man. It's the playoff Julian Edelman to me. It's not necessarily the regular season Julian Edelman. And that's where that New England Patriots organization, there's some players that are going to make Hall of Fame runs just for their playoff, just for what they did in the playoffs, period. You know, I mean, Gilmore I think he was hyped because of the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Gilmore was that good for a season. He just got to playoffs and sold up. So, I mean, when I look at that New England organization, there's going to be a few players that I think are going to end up squeezing into the Hall of Fame that I don't think really deserve it.
I'm gonna be honest. If he gets in, I'm gonna have a problem with it because there's guys that, like I said, you had the Andre Reeds of the world. You know what I'm saying? You had T.O. You know, we already talked about T.O. Yeah, matter of fact, somebody mentioned earlier, Torrey Holt. I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame. So I'm gonna have a problem with it.
I'll pick Anquan Bolden over Julius Edelman.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I have a problem if this guy gets into the Hall of Fame.
I agree. So I think the verdict, Real Talk, has put it out there, guys. Julian Edelman is not a Hall of Famer. You heard it here first. So moving on, staying in football, I'm gonna go to you first, Nate, because by the way, you had a great debate last night. Good job on that. Speaking about the Browns, we had a question about the Browns yesterday for you, and how bad the organization is compared to the Detroit Lions.
That was actually Kenny's debate, but
my bad. You judged it.
Yeah, I judged it, but you're right. My debate was yesterday.
But so sticking with the Browns, I think have a very touchy situation with a star prima donna wide receiver. We know the talent's there with the guy. He just fell off the last 2 years, if you ask me. Do they keep OBJ? Do they move on from him? What do they do with him, Kenny?
I think you gotta. It's very hard to find game-breaking wide receivers. Those guys don't come along. You know, they're just not. Not that easy to find. But then, you also got to put up with the headache that comes along with it.
Yep.
And the more talented you are, the more leeway you get.
Yep.
So I don't, now the question is, does he come back and be, from this ACL, does he come back and he's still the same OBJ? Because he's not the tallest guy. What made him great was his speed and then his leaping ability.
And the hands.
Yeah, and the hands. So I mean, the hands are not going anywhere. But will the separation be there? Will the 50-50 balls, will he be able to, out jump a corner and snag one that's in the air? So I think they're kind of stuck in a sense, because if they try to move him coming off this injury, you're getting 50 cents on the dollar. So I think they're kind of painted in the corner. So they got to at least give him 1 year to see if he can get back healthy, and to see if he can integrate himself into the Browns franchise, and see if they can elevate with him on the team. And then maybe they explore it after that. If he's still a headache and he's not, coming back to be the guy that he was, then you just have to cut your losses maybe. But I think they don't have a choice. They have to keep him, at least for this year.
Nate, what's up? You agree with that? I mean, what do you think?
What you said about the second part is I think they have to keep him. But if I were the Browns, to be honest, I think OBJ's that kind of receiver that I feel like he does. I feel like when him on a team does better if their number 2 wide receiver is not as good. So if he gets like majority of the catches, I feel like that because of chemistry, if he gets more majority of the catches, if it's more split and Jarvis Landry gets a good chunk and OBJ gets a good chunk, I feel like the chemistry is not going to be exactly there in the locker room.
I mean, look, combined the last 2 years,
yeah,
he's had 97 receptions. Okay, combined the last 2 years, he had 77 receptions the year before last. Okay, it was his last year in New York.
Yeah.
Of course, that year he got hurt or whatever before he left out. The guy's yardage, we know he's a flamer. He is a speedster. If he gets the ball, he's a track star. I hope you got another one on the other side of him. But the problem is the locker room, the word you used, chemistry. We seen a year with Odell. That first year, he had 74 receptions, played all 16 games. Played in all 16 games. This year, he got hurt. They did much better. They were a better organization without Odell Beckham. As much as I hate to say it, I say you go in the first 3 games and you feature Odell Beckham as your number 1 receiver. You throw the ball to him every chance you get. You force balls to him if you have to, and you put some freaking trade value back into him within the first 3 weeks. And after those first 3 weeks, you get rid of him because your team was better without him. Your team is young. Landry is just as good as Odell Beckham, if you ask me, or at least production-wise, not talent-wise. Odell Beckham is out the roof with talent. That's the part that kills me about this guy. But Landry performs just as good as Odell Beckham, if you ask me. So you ride with Landry as your number 1. You get rid of Odell Beckham, get a couple of draft picks and a decent wide receiver in exchange or something of that nature, maybe a defender, and you ride that out.
Oh, yeah, I totally
You got to get something for him. You got to get something for him. You paid a lot of money not to get 97 receptions over 2 years.
Yeah, get a couple draft picks, maybe spend one as a wide receiver. Use more as like some defense help.
You could have got John Brown off the street for that.
Well, let me play devil's advocate. Now, say you feature this guy and he goes off and he has these big games, and you win the first 3 games. Then what? Do you trade him? You trade him, and then you mess up, and then potentially you got a chance to really make a run because they just signed Jadeveon Clowney. So do you trade him and think and potentially maybe a number 1 guy that potentially could lead you to playoffs and a deep run in the playoffs?
Okay, this is roulette right here because you got that red. What you said, that's red. But Black, he gets hurt again, and let's be honest, if he hurts that leg, that knee, or that ankle again, he may not return the same.
That's fair.
You playing Russian roulette on this one for real.
Yeah. It's it's a gamble either way because, like you said, if you trade them and then you're able to get the chemistry that you need back, it could result in a long playoff run. If you don't, or if you keep him and he rolls and and then you decide to wait, and then he implodes and tears up your locker room, then who knows? That's why what you said, Russian roulette is spot on.
And to what Suggs was saying, to what Johns was saying right now, you're right, John. He is making $13 million a year. He's not a free agent to 2024. This is what we're saying. Do you hold on to that chip, or do you take a cut from him and go out and get a $7 million a year wide receiver and spend that other 7 on shoring up the tight end position or shoring up the middle line or the linebackers that you got over there? I mean, there's a lot of different moves, and Cleveland is right there. And it's one of those things because they were there last year. So does Odell Beckham knock him over, or does he come in and put some more funk into the locker room chemistry again and drag them down?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, it's a bad move.
Like I said, like you said, that's why I said Russian roulette. That's the perfect term for it because you just don't know which way it's going to go,
and it can go left or right.
Either way, that's
extremely.
Right. Either way.
Now, keeping it. Will you get more in return trading now, waiting until free agency? Oh,
Definitely not now. His value is too low.
It's either next year, after Game 3, he increased his value, and you're going into the trading deadline with a hot valued OBJ, or he's not going to have that much value anymore until he signs another or until he has a solid year with the second year where he's out not injured.
And then with the NFL, these lack of guaranteed contracts, they could take the hit and take that dead cap hit and could just cut bait totally.
Yeah.
So,
that is definitely right.
That's plan C. So
definitely. I mean, moving on with some more expectations, man. Let's talk about Mr. Lamar. The Baltimore Ravens have been on the cusp of being a solid I'm scared of you team for the past 3 or 4 years. Is it the Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? Is it those Titans? Or is it just Lamar and the Ravens? What is it? What are our expectations for the Ravens this year? And what piece are they missing? To make that next step. Nate, I'll go with you first. I'll let Kenny close this one out.
I think they need some help on offense. I mean, you have Lamar, who doesn't throw very many did not throw very many passes last year, and he was the leading rusher. So they need some help on running back and wide receiver. They did get Sammy Watkins, but I'm not sure if that would be that's not really enough for wide receiver, in my opinion. And in years past, I think really they won. Lamar's first 2 years, he didn't win a playoff game. This year, he did against the Tennessee Titans. I would honestly expect to probably see more, maybe improved off of that playoff win, maybe go 2 wins. Maybe have some sort of better record.
Okay. Kenny, what do you think?
I think until they get a number one receiver, then it's just going to be the continued Lamar, Jackson show. And eventually, how it goes with running quarterbacks. Eventually, they get that one, knockout hit. Yeah. And, he's just playing with fire. I think last year said, and I think we talked about this before, the fact that they had to bring in Dez Bryant, and that's no disrespect to Dez Bryant, but his better days have been past. The days of him being a number one wide receiver have kind of been long gone. So the fact that they pretty much brought him in off the street, just to let you know how much they needed help outside, and I think that's really the thing that's going to get them to the next level, because they got to get a number one wide receiver. They got a good tight end. They got a nice young running back in J.K. Dobbins. So I think they have some pieces in our offensive line. What happens with the tackle? It's a couple of things. A couple of questions that need to be answered. But number one, until they get that number one wide receiver, because think about it, you gotta, the road to the AFC Super Bowl goes through Kansas City.
Yeah.
Goes through Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? And both of those teams have weapons outside. They got guys that can fill it up. Guys got, between Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill and the Kansas City tight end. They just got big time playmakers. So you gotta be able to score in order to beat those two teams. And the Ravens just have too much of a struggle to score points. So I think, like I said, until they get that number one guy, I think they might take a step backwards this year, especially if they don't address that.
Yeah. No, and you're right. That conference has been getting better. legitimately, all the way down. We're about
and
to
the
see
Patriots could be
Jacksonville.
back. The Patriots could be back next year. You know,
We're about
they
to see
reloaded.
Jacksonville take the leap. You know what I mean? Like, not a they ain't about to make no crazy noise, but the
Chargers too.
the team
Chargers
is going to get better.
Yeah. That's
so,
right, Chargers. You're right, Nate.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking at them and that division, like we were just talking about Cleveland, you know, being progressively getting better year to year and what they should do with OBJ because they did have as much success as they did without him. They did make the playoffs. They did do a little bit there. So looking at that division, you got Pittsburgh, you got Cleveland, you got, you know, Cincinnati, who just picked up Joe Burrow, was trying to make its forward change and come over that hump. So Baltimore is really in a crucial, you know, situation, if you ask me. It may not sound off alarms for a lot of people yet because they're not seeing what's going down in that division. But if Baltimore don't make some moves and move towards balancing out that offense, it's not just that they don't have, you know, a lot going. They're not a balanced offense. You got Lamar Jackson, who's a heavy runner, and which I'm gonna blame a lot on what's his name down there, coach
Harbaugh.
I'm gonna blame a lot of that on Harbaugh being scared to use the man. But fuck, I mean, you gotta take those chances here and there, and you know, looking at that when he does drop back, Kenny, you said it yourself. Who the hell is he throwing it to?
That's the question, man.
We got Andrews, and to me, that's their best wide receiver. That's their best receiver right there. Is Andrews. Marquise Brown is great, but if Marquise Brown is getting doubled, he's too small.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's a one hit. He's a one, you know, one note wonder. Like he could just, you know, take the top off the defense, but he's not the guy that's really, you know, exactly. He's not making a play over, you know, he's not making any plays to move the chains like that.
No. And you know another thing though, I'm gonna go back to Harbaugh. Take Andy Reid's book and look what he was doing when he got McAllister. When he first got McAllister, you know, before he hit gold and went and got what's his name, Tyrone Hill. But when he got McAllister and he was trying to use that. McCluster, my bad, not McAllister, Dexter McCluster. When he got McCluster and he was moving around, and I think Marquise Brown is 20 times better than McCluster. So you can use this.
Just gotta be a little more imaginative.
Yeah, like he's not doing enough for me. There's not enough innovation in that offense. You got two. I mean, I like the fact that they were able to luckily come up on two really good running backs when what's his name went down. You got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins out of it, you know, but you need receivers. You need it.
Absolutely.
And then losing Orlando Brown, that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good, you know? So I really think that they really need to make some moves. I honestly, my expectations are no playoffs this year.
It's a possibility. I know one thing. I'm sure Steve Biscotti sure wishes that Ozzie Newsome didn't retire because since he's left, in terms of their personnel, they have really taken a hit.
They got offensive linemen leaving. That's not a Baltimore Raven thing.
I would put them in the playoffs, but I would put them as the 7th seed, that very, very last seed.
Yeah, like that wild card. Maybe, you know, if everything breaks right. But, you know, like I said, Cleveland is coming. You know, they're not going anywhere. I don't think, you know, Tennessee may take a step back, but I'm not for sure. You know, that division is so, you know, up in the air. Maybe the Colts take a step forward, you know, with Wentz. So there's no
8th because I forgot about the Chargers, but yeah, I would put them in.
Yeah, like we already talked about the Chargers. We think they're going to be better this coming season. So I don't know. I think they're going to be fighting for that last, you know, for that wild card spot.
It's gonna be a good finish, man. It really is. It really is. Now, my favorite part of any show, get to talk about my home squad. You know, you know. So, if the Cardinals, I mean, gosh, guys, I don't even know how we wrote this if the Cardinals don't make the Super Bowl. I mean, what does that even sound like? Come on.
gosh.
What does that even sound like?
Oh, stop
I'm
it.
a
If the
Broncos
Cardinals
fan. I don't even
make
think my
the
team's
Super
going to the
Bowl,
Super Bowl.
Homer.
is it a
Homer
disappointment?
overload.
Is it a disappointment if the Cardinals don't make a Super Bowl? Kenny, I know you just holding back. Go ahead, Kenny.
No, I'm gonna let you cook. No, I'm gonna let you cook. This is your topic. I'm gonna let you cook.
Yes, 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 and yes. You know, we've made some big splashes in free agency. We have. You know, we've done this in the past. We went out and got Carson Palmer. It was move or bust. We went, you know, going further back when we went out and got Kurt Warner. Not that particular year, because we didn't think Kurt Warner was going to come in and be the guy he was, but we went from almost last to first. You know, and when we go out, we make big moves, and this time it's not a quarterback, but when we go out, we make big moves. Cardinals always, they want their money to be spent, and they want to reap the benefits fast. As an organization, I know darn well that front office is expecting to go to the Super Bowl, period. We don't make, even when we went out and got like Emmitt Smith and Edgerrin James, and, you know, those type of signings for us are major as an organization. So going out and getting J.J. Watt. But the other big thing here was letting go of Patrick Peterson to go do it. That told me that they're saying, hey, we really need to make a move. We really need to make some changes. And if they're not complying, if they're not willing to throw in their efforts into this, then they got to go. And I feel like Patrick Peterson wasn't willing to take a pay cut, give us a pay cut, take a pay cut to stay here. And even though to me he did take a pay cut going to Minnesota, but that's what I think happened with Patrick Peterson. So this is definitely a Super Bowl or bust. You know, we did go out and get James Conner to replace Kenyon Drake because Kenyon Drake was good. He did his thing, but we needed a power back. Chase Edmonds is a better speed back than Kenyon Drake. Chase Edmonds is a better receiver out the backfield than Kenyon Drake. You know, going out and getting AJ Green. That solidifies so many things on the football field that people haven't even noticed yet. They're gonna see it. You can't leave AJ Green on single coverage on a number 2 corner. You can't do that. It's impossible. So now we're about to see a number 2 struggle game after game after game, and on an island because the everybody got to shift over to.
Got to roll the coverage to D-Hop.
Got to.
Gotta. Yep.
You know, I'm gonna tell you right now, my number 1 focus in the draft is a tight end for that offense. If we get a tight end for that offense, it is a wrap. There's no NFL team that has the secondary to compete with that. If we get a tight end that can come out, chip block, and make a reception to do something.
Now let me ask you a question. What would you do to move up in the draft to get Kyle Pitts? What would you give up?
I've been thinking about this for weeks, bro. The future. I don't know how else to put it. You give up another first round. You give up a first rounder next year. You give up a second rounder or a third rounder next year, and then you give up maybe one down the road. I'm going for that. And most people would think I was crazy for it. But right now, that's our only piece we're missing. That is the only piece we're missing. We got a $1 million car, and all we need is the engine. By golly, I'm putting everything in to get this engine. You know what I mean? If we get out of all the tight ends, if we can have Pitts. Huh.
Oh yeah, that'd be crazy.
Oh my
yeah, because
God.
I like you said, you kind of pretty much covered it, but I agree with you in that that's really the only place where there's a weakness. And but I will say this though, is that AJ Green's got to stay healthy.
He's gonna have so much pressure off of him.
I understand that, but I'm just saying he's got to stay healthy in order. But if he's healthy, I'm sure he's going to put up big numbers. And again, I think you just nailed it about having that 1-2 punch of Conner and Edmonds. You got that change of pace. You got the hammer and the first and second down guy with Connor. And you got that that scat back or that third down guy that can change pace to get out on the edge, and you don't use your screen game and all that stuff with Edmonds. So I just think you got weapons galore. And honestly, I don't know. They might just think about getting you might just want to get a blocking tight end.
We
That's
got Max
like
Williams.
no, I'm saying another that's like a seventh, that extra lineman, because how many balls are gonna be left if AJ Green is cooking and D Hop is cooking? How many balls are gonna be left for the tight end?
Well, it's not even that it's going to be a lot. It's going to be crucial moments. And those were the situations that I think needed help with us last year. It was not the game. It was crucial moments. When they know we need that 10-yard pass, they know we need that. So they're going to have extra men out there on DeAndre's area. They're going to have an extra linebacker float around AJ Green for comebacks and those things. So that's where a 6'3", 225-pound, 250-pound dude out there running and catching the ball will really come into play. Now, going back to that comment I seen on the screen from Lynch.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
No, he said, I didn't see that. Before that, I answer that. I'll go to that second. The future for Pitts. Yes, because it's not about Pitts. It's not about Pitts in this situation. It's about Pitts fitting our team and our needs so well. You know what I mean? Like Pitts, I wouldn't normally if we take all the signings we just did last year and keep the same team we had and we going into this draft, I wouldn't be going after Pitts. But with the team we have now and the holes that we've filled, that is a major glaring hole to me. And putting a guy like that in there will set this team off top. Mm-hmm. It will set it over the top.
So Zach Lynch says that Cards. Well, actually, John Suggs said this, but Cardinals need help on defense.
Okay, so let me address our defense. We still need secondary help. That's understood. What we just did on that line is ridiculous. Remember, Corey Peters came off of a major injury last year. We haven't re-signed him yet, bless you. We haven't re-signed him yet because he's still rehabbing. We'll probably eventually bring him back by week 3 or 4, okay? But having Jordan Phillips, having J.J. Watt, and having Chandler Jones, and then Marcus Golden over there, the secondary is not going to have to be as strong as we've had to have them in the past.
Didn't y'all lose what's the Reddick? Y'all lost Reddick?
We lost Hassan Reddick, but Hassan Reddick had a good year. We put so much time and effort into Hassan Reddick. I'm not even upset. He had a good year. I mean, we'll see what he does. Marcus Golden to me is more consistent than Hassan Reddick, and he's done it 2-3 years in a row. So I'll take Marcus Golden. If I got to lose one or the other, I'll rather keep Marcus Golden than Hassan.
For me, I feel like the team that I have going in and winning the Super Bowl, I do have the Cardinals going very far in the playoffs. But the team that I have going in and winning the Super Bowl would be the Rams.
What?
Yeah, the Rams.
You're lucky I ain't got a mute button.
The Rams, I feel like, compared to the Cardinals, have a better quarterback, have a better running back than James. Cam Akers is a better running back than James Conner.
That's close. I don't know. That's close.
That's not even. First of all, that's not even our number one running back. Chase Edmonds is better than both of them.
Okay.
No, I like Akers. Akers is a good running back, but you're about to get to a position. Go ahead. What's the next position?
I feel like those are the.
Defense is definitely better in terms of the Rams. There's no question about that.
Well, the Rams have better stars on defense. I think as a whole, we're right there with each other. As individually on paper, the Rams are leaps and bounds ahead of us. I mean, they have one of the best corners. I think the top 3 corner in the league, arguably. They got the best defender in the league, and arguably the best player in the league in Aaron Donald. I think giving up Michael Brunson is going to be.
This guy must be a 49ers fan.
9-8, and the Niners are going to go 10-7, or no, we're going to go 9-8.
Oh, yeah.
No, okay. Well, in that case, Zach, that makes absolutely no sense because there's no way Seattle, us, you, and the Rams are all going to win 9-8. It's not going to happen. So I don't foresee that. I see Seattle taking a dip back. I see Arizona. And I see Seattle. I mean, not Seattle taking it. Seattle taking it. And St. Louis or LA. I see all three of us having a close race towards the end, kind of like what we had this year. But I see us coming out on top. I think the continuity, the chemistry is gonna surpass on our connection points. Where LA is gonna have a more of a lapse once you get down to the nitty gritty because you got Stafford throwing to some people he ain't never threw before. So. In our division, you can't have no slip-ups. So I think the Rams are going to start off slow. I think they're going to catch heat towards the end of the season after the trade deadline. But I think Seattle is going to be consistent, moving Seattle the whole time. And I think, Arizona is going to do this. We're going to have some hot and some colds. But when we're hot, we're going to be hot. I'm telling you. Man, I think we're going to break some scoring records. We're going to look at the St. Louis Rams of the thousands records this year. I think we're really going to break some scoring records.
Yeah, and the Rams were number 1 on defense. What are you talking about? 32nd.
What did he say there? 32nd in what?
Second on defense.
In what?
The Rams was 32nd on defense.
You better pick a stat out because there ain't no overall 32nd.
Yeah, in passing, they were number 1. They were number 1 in passing. So I don't know what stats he's looking at.
Man, Rams. Wait, go back. Put that back up. Rams was 32nd on defense. Cardinals was 21st. 32nd on defense. Scoring defense or what?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The Rams were number 1 in passing defense.
I agree with that, John. I do. The Rams did not get better on defense. They lost a couple key players. And we hopefully, as a Cardinals fan, we see that, especially on that line of scrimmage, which they've been so dominant in for so long. Bronson was a big part of that. I don't think that Aaron Donald will definitely tell you that helped him out. So hopefully that makes a difference because that West, you're right, man, it's very tough out here. It's a one game can blow everything type of division. So I'm just hoping for the best, man. Get a good seed in the playoffs. I know we're going to playoffs this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can book it.
I see y'all
make a good run.
Jay, I see y'all getting 4 losses this year.
4 losses?
Yeah, around that.
DM
that.
Your address. I'm gonna send you a pizza. I like that type of talk right there.
I see y'all losing both games to the Rams.
Oh, we can stop. Nope.
Splitting San Fran and losing to Green Bay.
You know what? I'd rather not make the playoffs and lose 2 games at the Rams this year. You don't know how bad it is to be in the. We got a tough division. We don't care if you make it to the playoffs and you didn't do nothing else. We don't care if you lost to the Niners, the Rams, and the Seattle Seahawks, and you lose in the first round next year. The division telling you you gonna get swept. So I can't get swept by Seattle again. No. Let's move. No, definitely. Let's move on. Let's go with a little bit of Rankum. Let's play a little bit of NFL Rankum. These organizations current for upcoming season. Dallas, Arizona, Tampa Bay. I don't know why Tampa Bay is in this one. I really would rather put like Seattle, but we're going to leave Tampa Bay in there. Tampa Bay, Dallas, Arizona. Nate, rank them.
Without a question, Dallas is 3rd.
I love it.
Watch your mouth, mate. Watch your mouth.
I love it.
I'm sorry, but without a question, Dallas is 3rd. Number. I gotta look at the schedules again. I looked at Arizona's, but I'm gonna have to look at Tampa Bay's schedule before I give my answer on that.
You gotta give us the answer. Give it to us off the top.
Yeah, this is real talk. You ain't no skating around it.
Tell us how you feel. Boy. Come on now. I need some. Get
Say
off
with
the
your
chest.
I mean, Arizona's they've improved a whole lot, but I might have to give, because they're the Super Bowl winners. I might have to give the slight edge to Tampa, but it's really, really close.
Okay. And listen, you ain't gotta show me no love now. I mean, you ain't gotta show me no love. You just tell how it is. No, go ahead, Kitty. What you got?
He wants two pizzas. That's what it is. Yeah, Tampa Bay is number one. They pretty much almost all the way intact in terms of bringing back their team from last year, as the defending Super Bowl champs. So they're number one. I think the question is between 2 and 3. Like, I don't think it's that close. I don't think it's that definitive that the Cardinals are that much better than the Cowboys. And this is not, homer talk, because the Cowboys' offense is prolific. Let's keep it 100. It's just defensively there's a question. And you could say the same thing about the Cardinals, is that they got a prolific offense, on paper. But we don't know what the defense is going to be. So this is tough, man. I'm actually gonna have to. I'm going Cowboys too. I got to do it. I'm going Cowboys 2 and the Cardinals 3, because Dak has more experience. I think the overall, you got a trio of big time wide receivers in the Cowboys. To me, as opposed, you got a 1-2 punch more so in the Cardinals, because I think Gallup, Amari, and CeeDee Lamb, I think that's a better trio than what the Cardinals have. So just based on that, I'm giving the Dallas a slight edge, but just a slight edge.
Zach, I do believe in my Cardinals. I do. I mean, if you're asking me, it's always going to be yes. If you're asking them, they might tell you something different. You're asking me, it's always going to be yes, Zach. I'm always riding with them.
I don't drink subs, so there's no liquor in my system.
You got to give homage to, Mr. Electric Fence Around Me, Brady. You know what I mean? You got to give homage to Mr. Electric Fence Around Me. And then out of the Cowboys and the Cardinals, you can call it bias if you like, but I'm going to pick the Cardinals over the Cowboys.
I'm not mad.
I mean, the reason is I think we're closer than you guys are. I think our team was healthier last year than your guys' team. Off tops, we had a better year to grow together. Our division is
who has a better coach?
You guys. I don't think that I can't say he's the great coach yet. He hasn't done enough. I haven't seen enough changes. I haven't seen enough. Now let me tell you this. He's probably the best play caller as far as like having plays for times and the types of plays he runs. He might be one of the best play callers, but I don't think he's the best coach yet. I don't think he's even in the conversation. He's made some dumb where I wanted to go to the stadium and grab his keys and say, hey, you can't come back in. He made some dumb calls, but he's young. He's young. And these are probably, we talk about the Bruce Arians, we talk about the Tomlins and all these guys. These guys had chances to coach at different levels a lot longer. So these type of dumb mistakes that, he's making, unfortunately, it has to be in the NFL instead of being in a high school setting or a college setting, and because he's so young. So I'm willing to work with him. I mean, growing up, I used to always envy the teams that had the Bill Cowhers. I used to always envy the teams that had, longevity with their coaches. So having a coach this young gives us the opportunity to grow with one, which I think the Cardinals, those are the types of things that we need in our organization we've never had. You know what I mean? So I that's what I go. And then the Cowboys last, just because there has been so much outside of the field, off the field conversations over the last 2 years. With who's going to get signed, who's not going to get signed, who's going to do this. I think this is going to be like a year. And then next year, they're going to go back to being the Dallas Cowboys that we all know. So that's my take on it. Now, we're moving over to the hot ball. That's what I'm going to call NBA right now, because these players is out here splashing, man. They out here playing. 40 and 40 is right around the corner. You can tell. It's been great. And, you know, this is the perfect person to lead with. Steph, the man, the chef, Curry, has been out here. Quavo, Migos, whipping. They've been out here stir fry. David, he's been out here killing it. I mean,
Urban.
What did he had? 12 threes last night with 11.
Yeah,
42. Yeah. I mean, the dude's been really killing. Wiseman's out. He just had a terrible injury, and he's really lugging him along. But looking at his career, is Steph Curry the greatest point guard all time? Is he in the conversation in that top 3? Where does Steph Curry stand? Is he in that conversation, Kenny?
Top 3. That's I can't put him. I don't know. He might be, because right off the top of my head, I'm saying Magic. You know, a lot of people say Magic and Stockton. For me, it's Magic and Isaiah. But like Steph, man, I think when it's all said and done, he probably is going to be in that top 3. But he's definitely not the greatest of all time. Like no one will ever top Magic for me in terms of the greatest point guard. So I don't think he'll ever top that. And you know, another like little blemish that's gonna hurt him is that year, you know, the 73-9 year where they lost Game 7 at home, and like, you know, he was 1-on-1 ISO with Kevin Love, and he couldn't. You know what I'm saying? He had to force a contested 3 against Kevin Love. Like that was, and then you turned around to Kyrie and did what he did. So I think that's always going to kind of be a little mark against him, as well as kind of his, you know, health challenges, you know, the health issues he had at the beginning, and then he, you know, lost a year last year to injury pretty much. So I think that's going to hurt him. But there's no question he's top 5. Top 3, I'm just not quite sure. He probably will get there when it's all said and done. But right now, I think he's got a little bit more work to do to solidify that top 3. But he'll never be the greatest of all time for point guard for me.
I get that. Mr. Great. Is Steph Curry great? How great is he?
I would put him. I would put him top 5 definitely.
Right.
I would probably put him at number 4.
Who you got above him?
Obviously, I would have Magic Johnson. Oscar Robinson.
Thank you.
And then John Stockton from the Utah Jazz.
Only thing that hurts Robinson is he only has 1 championship.
Yeah. Steph has 1 championship in 1971. Oscar Robertson has 1 as well.
But name the top 5 point guards that got multiple championships.
Oh, it's not that many. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got Magic. You got Magic and you got Isaiah. They got multiple championships.
And do you put Isaiah top 5? Because if
me?
you do, yeah, I know you do.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, this is where I get at this.
I would.
I mean, who's out? Chris Paul, John Stockton. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's out? You still got Allen. You know what I mean? Like, And I think Stockton has to be in.
I would.
Stat wise, there's no way around John Stockton not being in the top 5 category. No matter what you think about the guy's game.
But of course, everybody's going to bring up the no rings, though. So
you're in a Jordan era.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that's that's always going to be people's.
I wouldn't put these guys at top 5, but I would put them at top 10. And both of these guys do have more than one championship, and that's Wilt Frazier and Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy, yeah. Well, honestly, to me, and there's no disrespect to Bob Cousy, but like this dude was dribbling on the court with one hand. Like the skill level, and then also the competition level at that time, like it was winning like one series and going to the conference finals. So they didn't have nearly the road that these current guys had to get to a championship.
Gladiators getting there now.
Yeah. He meant Steve Nash. But yeah, Nash is definitely in there too. No, he's in there, definitely top 10, I think.
Yeah, he's top 10, and that's one of the guys. That's a homer. I love Nash. I watched him destroy teams. But looking at Nash, I can't put him there. When I got guys like Oscar Robertson who have went above and did achieve winning that one championship. I do have, Isaiah. And, Nash and Chris Paul are the first ones out.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Paul with a championship, he might be number 2.
Wow, you got him making that big a jump?
If he wins a championship, man, there's nothing else Chris Paul hasn't accomplished as a point guard.
Yeah.
He's went to every single team he's gone to and increased their win percentage by at least 40%.
It wouldn't change anything for me.
For Chris Paul?
Yeah.
If you won a championship, that wouldn't change anything for you?
Yeah, it wouldn't. Because there's more than one player on that team. Winning championships is a team game. So it's not really.
Yeah, but he plays the most important position on the floor. Like, anyone will say the point guard is the coach on the court. He's the guy that has to know what everybody else on the court is doing and his job.
And look what he's been through.
Look what Chris Paul's been through. Play the only position.
But look what Chris Paul's been through.
But he plays the most important position, just like the quarterback. The quarterbacks get more credit for wins and losses than the rest of the team does. It's the same thing with the point guard.
Starting pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goalie in hockey.
Yeah. Closer and baseball.
And that's where I put it. Like, I think Chris Paul in our era has had the hardest road as a point guard. He's literally.
I think he's had the worst luck too.
Yeah.
I think that's really, he's had the worst luck. Like if you go back to that,
the Bosch trade.
No, the Bosch trade. Then the Sterling issue, that year when they was gonna make a run in the playoffs. Then the year he pulls his hamstring when they're up against Golden State. Like he just had the worst luck, man. So I get it.
He's a beast, man. He really is. So moving on. We're gonna stay in this all-time. CP3 hasn't had nothing lower than a 15.6 points per game, and that's what I mean, John. Now, John, when we bring up something like that, before we move on to this next thing, when we bring up something like that, that's where I go out and I grab this guy called Russell Westbrook. And anybody can say whatever they want to say about him. But when you talk Oscar Robertson, you better say Russell.
That's a fact.
You better say Russell. And if you ask me, personally,
he surpassed him.
Oh, yeah. But they want to push up Oscar. They don't love him. They don't want to give love
to surpassed him. Yeah.
And if you ask me, Russell's top 5 point guard of all time, period. Because, and I already told y'all we can't even talk about championships because the top 10 lists don't have a whole bunch of lists of champions.
That's true.
The point guard position, like you said, he's the pilot of the ship. He's the one that handles what goes in and what comes out of it. He's the one that takes the heat night in and night out. He usually guards the best player on the basketball court, unless they got the big man as the best one.
Especially nowadays, it's the point guard era.
And you got to score as a point guard. It's not a pass first point guard league any longer. So I think Russell Westbrook is the most complete guard in the NBA. You have Kawhi Leonard, but Russell Westbrook does absolutely everything on the stat sheet. Absolutely everything.
You got to put Harden in that category too.
Well, no, I can't put Harden in that category until you start playing defense.
Yeah, but I don't know that Russ is that. Russ ain't exactly no lock. He ain't locked. He not putting no clamps on nobody.
No, he ain't got no Hall of Fame badge, but
I mean, he ain't clamping nobody. He just
bronze.
He plays hard. He just plays super hard.
It's bronze at least. He got a bronze badge.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Like the same thing with Pat. The same thing with Pat. I could say the same thing about Pat Beverly. Like, you know, we say he loves to talk about he's 94 feet, but I don't see him clamping nobody down like that. I just see him a harassing guy.
I think he's not a lockdown defender, but he is a good defender. He is a hustle defender.
Yeah.
He's one of those types of guys. And James Harden, to me, his defensive rating is a -2. Like, he's a really liability on defense, and he gets out of his head looking the other way a lot. He watches.
Now you know what though. To me though, I put that more on D'Antoni because he didn't hold him accountable. Like, if he would have held him more accountable, like, he was literally just taking full plays off on defense to conserve his energy for offense. That's why I said I put that on D'Antoni, because he put so much on him offensively that I think he used the defensive end to conserve his energy. So I put that more on D'Antoni.
Yeah. I agree with that. I understand that one. But keeping on, let's stay in this top category. Let's move over to young players. It's getting good out here, guys. I mean, we got a handful of them. We're starting to see the old, the old faithfuls go away. By the way, big ups to Marcus Aldridge in that career. He had a great career, but we're starting to see those type of guys.
Salute to that man.
Definitely. And I hope he handles his health issues too, because that's bigger than basketball, man.
Absolutely.
But looking at that, who would be your guys' top 10 youngest players in the NBA right now? What's your top 10 list? I'll go with you first, Nate. What you got? You got one for me?
No, that's hard. I can do number one as a homer pick, and I'll probably go with the Joker.
Okay. Well, here, I'll give you my kind of list, so to speak. Not in any particular order. I got Joel Embiid, Devin Booker.
I'm surprised you ain't put him one. Oh, you say no order. Go ahead.
No order. Joel Embiid,
probably go
Devin Booker,
Donovan Mitchell,
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Adebayo, Zion, Luka. I got to put Ben Simmons in there. Now, this last spot, I'm going to say 2 people because they deserve it. Actually, I'm going to say 3. Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox, and Shai Alexander. Those 3 would make my 10. They make number 10, those 3. That's my list, man. And obviously, I put Devin and Joel as the top 2. Every year they're getting better. I really take out the bias portion of me and the Suns. I really want to see Devin Booker in the playoffs. I really, 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 really want to see Devin Booker play a playoff game.
I agree.
I want to see what he does.
For me, in no particular order, I'll probably go Donovan Mitchell, the Joker. Well, is he getting to that point where you consider him middle age for an NBA player?
Yeah. I mean,
What is
Joker's
he?
been around.
How old is he? 27?
I think he started in like 2014.
I'm about to look it up.
Let me see. He's 26. He's right there. We'll keep him in the young players.
Okay. The Joker, I would put Luka, Devin Booker, Zion, Jason Tatum. I lost track of how many I put, but
You're at 7.
7. Probably go Ben Simmons from Philadelphia. Go with the Heat, Miami. I'll go with Bam Adebayo.
And how you gonna leave Jamal Murray off the list? And you Homer?
Yeah, you wild.
I said 9.
No, don't.
Okay.
I didn't
He said he's saving that for right.
I said
he's trying
9.
to save it. He's saving it.
Yeah.
It's saving the beauty.
Jamal Murray.
Kenny,
There
what
you
you
go.
got?
Oh man. I got Bam. I got my guy SGA. I got Tatum, Booker, Simmons, Luka, Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, Zion, and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, that's pretty much the list right there. I mean, no one else that I can really think of. I did see that question on there. They asked no Miles Turner. No.
Yeah, no. He's too
You
inconsistent.
asked me a year and a half ago.
Yeah, he's too inconsistent. Especially this year. He's been really and actually I would put Sabonis before him.
You took the words out of my mouth. That was
I would put Sabonis before him.
And Julius Randle, I don't really put Julius Randle as a young. I don't know. I don't know how old is Julius, but I think Julius is vetting.
Yeah, I think he's 26. I think he's 26. I think.
So him and Jokic around the same age. I just feel like Julius has been around for a while.
Yeah, I think he's Have to look that up.
But no,
I
Sabonis,
can.
And I even put DeAndre Ayton over Miles Turner at this point.
And that's a homer pick right there.
No, hey, dude, DeAndre's a double-double in each game. And Miles Turner is inconsistent.
He's 26. Julius Randle's 26.
Okay, so he deserves to be on the list. You're right. My bad, John. He's right there. He definitely deserves to make the cut. Julius.
Well, I mean, but when you put these lists together, you're gonna, especially with a top 10, you're going to leave somebody out. You can't. Yeah. Because I mean, some people will put LaMelo. Some people want to put LaMelo Ball in there. Some people Trae Young. I see Trae Young in there. I had Donovan Mitchell.
Other guys I would have considered, John Morant from Memphis.
Oh yeah, John.
I forgot about John Morant.
So I'm saying you gotta De'Aaron Fox.
There's a lot of
guys.
Yeah. I mean, I can drop Jaylen Brown and put John Morant on there.
Yeah. You could, you could swap guys out for sure.
John Collins won't make the cut, not in top 10.
Yeah,
but he's another one that's not
top
consistent
15.
enough.
I put him top 15, not top 10.
Yeah. But no, with 10, it's hard. We got some good youngsters out here right now.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, at least in good hands.
Yeah, definitely. Well, keeping it rolling right along, you guys. I don't put Zach in that crew, bro. Not in that top 10 crew. That top 10 crew we just named was very solid. Zach's had a lot of injuries.
I'm gonna tell you what, though. Shoot, this the last couple of years since he's been in Chicago, man. He's really elevated his game. Like Zach LaVine is
but he's still injured.
Bucket, man.
He's still injury prone. He still hasn't completed a full
year. Yeah, he just hasn't won. I think that's what's really killing them.
Yeah,
the fact that they haven't won, and he hasn't. He's been on losing teams his entire career.
Yeah, I mean, what do you put him ahead of Donovan Mitchell? What do you put him ahead of Devin Booker? Do you put him ahead of Jason Tatum? Like, no.
Yeah, Donis, LaMelo played half a season. You can't put him on this list yet.
Which LaMelo?
Ball.
I was hoping he was talking about like an old school Carmelo. He was just putting
right. Yeah, you can't put him on this list.
That dude is he's too new. He's still a bean sprout.
Soon.
Yeah, he's still a bean sprout. So moving along, the Knicks have made him. Let's be honest, guys. The Knicks are overachieving. The Knicks are overachieving, and Julius Randle is a hog. They need to get this man a little bit of help. Who do they go after next year in free agency?
I don't know.
I know you've been sitting at.
Hold up, Nate. You gotta let me cook on this one.
All right, go ahead.
You gotta let me cook on this one.
I don't know if this guy's a free agent. Oh, sorry.
So, if I am the Knicks, I am pulling out the Brinks truck and hopping on the private jet and going to LA and pulling up at Kawhi Leonard's house at 11:59 p.m. on July 1st, on June 30th, and saying, what's it going to take? You know, I got World Wide West in there. Shucks, I get Jay-Z if I have to. Spike Lee, you name it. Denzel Washington, because he's a New Yorker, and say, what is it going to take to get you to New York? Because to me, I think he's the type of guy, and he fits perfectly in New York for so many reasons.
Yeah.
One, he's a quiet superstar.
Yeah.
Two, he's the defender. So he'll be Tibbs' guy. He'd be one of Tibbs' guys right away because he plays both ends of the court. And he's a closer. So he's really the guy. He would be the guy that, and you put him with Julius Randle and with R.J. Barrett, and then figure out a way to get maybe get Alonzo Ball in free agency. Man, like that could be that the Garden could really be rocking. So I think he's the guy that the Knicks are missing. No, he's not overhyped. So I think Obi Toppin is he's just learning. You know, he's taking his lumps. Just think about it. The guy just had. Yeah, he actually Obi Toppin was overhyped. He just really only had one good season in college. He kind of came out of nowhere. So, you know, and he's a late bloomer. Yeah, he's a late bloomer. So he's just learning, he's just learning the game and figuring out how he can be an effective. And Tibbs is notoriously rough on rookies. Remember Jimmy Butler rode the bench.
Yeah.
Rookie year. You know what I'm saying? He didn't start staying in the court until, midway through his second year. Yeah. So Tibbs is tough on rookies and young players in general.
And he's big on fundamentals with rookies. He's big on, making sure they're doing the stuff that they're supposed to be doing at all times.
Yeah, and Toppin has had some, because I still keep up with my New York papers, even though I'm in Jacksonville. But he's had some mental lapses as well. So, that's a no-no when it comes to this. Exactly. So I don't think he's already been injured.
He's already had
So I don't think he's been overhyped. I just think he got it off to a rough start.
And then of course he's stuck behind Julius Randle too.
I apologize if I butcher your name, but I see your comment. Jawanza.
Gobert.
That's why I went with Adonis. That's easy.
I have a question about that comment. Was that for this topic or was that for the last topic?
No, as for this topic, is Rudy Gobert. Is he a free agent?
No, I think he just signed a contract. Matter of fact, because Shaq was killing him about that deal that he got with Utah. He's not available.
Yeah, I don't know if this guy is a free agent, but my answer, I
would like that down there though, next to Julius Randle. Give him a solid defender down low. But I like Mitchell Robinson. I really think when Mitchell Robinson's healthy, he's really good down there.
Oh yeah, he said that's for the last topic.
Oh, for the top 10 young.
Yeah, I think Gobert is 26 to 27 too.
I mean, and we might have to move this 25 and under thing to a 26.
I know, right? 30 and under, right?
They all right there.
Yeah.
But as far as for me, No, Rudy Gobert is a little bit older. He was born in '92. Yeah,
so he's 29.
yeah. But as far as for me, there's a couple of moves that they can really make. Obviously, the Kawhi Leonard is the go-to move. But then there's that's 1A, and then there's 1B, DeMar DeRozan. I think DeMar DeRozan is going to be. See, I saw the shake of the head, Kenny. But wait,
where are you going? Then where does RJ Barrett play?
I mean,
you put him at the 3.
I have a question.
Put DeRozan at the 3. DeRozan can play the 3.
No, I don't. I think I don't know. But go ahead.
I think that's 1B. I think you can go out and get a DeRozan, and you can make a trade if need be. Maybe we're trading RJ Barrett. Maybe we're definitely trading what's his name, man? We talked about this earlier in the year. What's his name? The other youngster. I can't get his name up. Knox. I'm getting rid of Knox.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting rid of Knox. Knox doesn't gel this team. He doesn't roll with the punches that they roll with. I'm getting rid of Knox. But DeMar DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard, would be definitely, some good pickups out there for him. But I really think that Kawhi Leonard pickup is the pickup to actually make him go over the top. That's the one that will push him into, real contention to actually make a move and really go somewhere. I also like Victor Oladipo. I think the Knicks need a high scorer.
He's staying in Philly.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
and that's 2023. That cap space will probably be gone by the time.
It better be gone.
Yeah, you got that
New York, it better be gone.
Yeah.
It better be gone after all this. I mean, and speaking of moves, cap space, all that good stuff. Coming down to one of our last questions of the night, guys. Right now, who is the executive of the year? I mean, we've seen some Robin Hooding going on right now. So, who is the executive of the year and why? Who wants this one first? All right.
I think I'll take it.
Okay.
I think it's Sean Marks. He basically flipped the team for James Harden, and they're still pretty much, tied they were tied for the 1 seed before the game last night against the Sixers. And he's brought in some young pieces like, the Reggie Perry, the Charles Claxton. Like those young guys the TLCs. Those guys can play. Even Chioza is a scrappy young point guard that they pretty much got from the G League. So I think he's kind of following that whole Spurs blueprint of you get the stars and get the core guys. So now he's got his core guys in terms of Kyrie and Harden and KD, and then he surrounded them with with young talent and with fringe guys. Guys that you may not have been on your radar, or guys that you kind of really, between the Ginobilis, the Tony Parkers, the Patty Mills, those type of guys where no one saw them coming. So I think he's really following that blueprint to the T. And I think the fact that he was able to make that deal and still, keep the core of their team intact and still have some young pieces to be able to plug in. And that they're the number 1, number 2 seed in the West, I think he's the GM of the year or executive of the year.
You mean number 2 in the East?
Yeah, they were number 1. I think they were tied before the game last night. Yeah.
Let me just squeeze mine out.
I know you're going to agree with this one.
Yeah,
I know you're going to agree with Suggs on that one. Go ahead, Jay.
What'd he say?
Put that up there, Nate.
Go ahead, put it up there, Nate, so he can say it with his chest.
I'm gonna go with a different answer.
Pin that comment.
That's why I said I knew you wanted to see that.
Pin that comment, Nate.
Let
that rest. Just leave it there. Go ahead and let that rest right over there. Just let it rest. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with a different comment only because I want to go with a different answer. That's it. I was gonna go with the Nets guy, but I'm just gonna go with a different guy because it's a different answer. This might be a little bit of a hot take here, but only because of what they did. I think they're sitting at 7 draft picks in the next 3 years. I might be wrong on that, but I'm gonna go with the Thunder. Sam Presti. He made deals with multiple teams around the league, getting young players, draft capital. I know that they're in a rebuild, but they're doing really well in the rebuild. So,
but my only problem with him though is like I'm still in my feelings about him signing like Ibaka and over Harden. Basically, that pretty much like torpedoed that team because they had to trade Harden because they couldn't pay him because they paid Ibaka. And there's no, I bet you if you ask him in a moment of reflection or an honest moment, he would say that's the biggest mistake that he ever made.
Yeah, I think also letting Chris Paul go. I mean, look at where they're at right now. They're third to the bottom in the West. Yeah, they do got all those draft picks, but they're really going to need them now. It's last year being fifth in the league, and then being taking that position last year, putting it this year without Chris Paul, with having 7 draft picks. Yeah, I'd be like, oh my God, that's ridiculous. But them not having Chris Paul, them having 7 draft picks, and them being third to last in the West, it took a lot of momentum out of that push for them to be executive here. I like the direction they're going in. I really do. They can keep heading that direction, but this ain't the year, and it's gonna be about 2 to 3 years before they're even.
Don't Danny Ainge those picks. Danny Ainge, piled up all them picks, and look what he got to show for it.
He was cutting slices of cheese outside of the back.
Without a doubt, and I only brought up Sam Presti just to make conversation.
No, I get it. No, you make some valid points though with that.
No, I'm not against your pick.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what took the momentum away from me, because OKC's right there in my top 4, I would say, for executives that have made moves in the past, year or so to push forward, but they took a lot of momentum away just falling down those standings. Yeah, I was gonna say the Hawks. I was really gonna say the Hawks. I mean, last year, if we look at the Hawks, last year they finished 14th in the East. They finished almost dead last. They made a lot of moves. Bogdanovic, Gallinari, and they've made a real solid run. They're sitting in 4th. They've also shut up John Collins. I haven't heard anything else about John Collins.
And the fact of him firing Lloyd Pierce might have been the best move he made all year, because
that might have been the issue with John Collins.
Shucks, so you might have nailed it right there, because between the personnel moves and then making a coaching change, he might be the guy.
Shutting up the issue, because John Collins is a crucial part of that team. I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
a great point.
I'm gonna have to go with you on that, Suggs. I mean, my 2A then, my 1B then would be the Suns. Because obviously look what they did. Last year they finished 10th. They're turning around. We're second in the NBA right now. Second in the West right now. We're fighting for the top 3 spot in the NBA and number 1 spot in the West. Going out and getting Chris Paul. And you know what? It's something that comes along with Chris Paul. No matter what Chris Paul does,
game just gets better.
Well, yeah, and people, I don't care what it is, they don't want to show him. They don't want to show him homage. They don't want to. Chris Paul's washed up. Chris Paul's too old. Chris Paul's been injured. Chris Paul doesn't show up in the playoffs. Chris Paul, my butt. this dude comes in, he changes cultures, he changes individuals' lives. I don't think that Devin Booker's never going to be the same after this season. This season, I think, has unleashed a new era of Devin Booker because he's playing with a guy that goes, sleeps, works basketball. That's all this dude does. He's the basketball guy. He's the point guard guy for a reason. And so between Phoenix and Atlanta, yeah, you're right. Those are the two. Those are the two. Now, I'm going to ask you this. Who's the coach of the year, though?
Oh, man. Like, you know, to me, it's three guys. You got, you know, your guy, Monty Williams. You got Tibbs. And then you got to put Nick McMillan. To me, I think you got to put Nick McMillan in that, and Doc Rivers as well.
What about the old boy over in Utah?
Oh yeah, that's right, Quinn Snyder. Yeah,
that's
Quinn Snyder too. Yeah. So I don't. But if I had to pick one, I'm actually going to go with your guy, Monty Williams, because that's a team that went from not even being in the playoffs to being a top. What are they? Number 3 seed right now? 2 seed. Yeah. So to go from not even being in the playoffs to be a 2 seed in the West.
In the West.
In the West, that's what I'm saying. Like that, you know, that to me is coach of the year. Like that's the biggest turnaround that in a year that, you know, we've seen in a long time. And they don't, it's not like they have, you know, they pretty much just added Chris Paul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the only thing that
Jay Crowder.
I mean, in terms of like big.
I think Jay Crowder was big. I think people.
He's a great role player. To me, like he's a poor man. To me, he's like a poor man's like he's almost a poor man's Draymond. Except he shoots it probably a little better. You know, he probably shoots it a little better. But you know, he's
he's a little bit better than PJ Tucker, a little bit better than Covington.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And you know, he's gives you a little more offensively. But probably not the defender that Draymond Green is. But yeah, he's another one of those guys that's a culture changer because he's gonna play hard. And like you said, Chris Paul, he's gonna demand of his teammates. He's gonna hold his teammates accountable. If you're not playing hard, you're gonna hear from this guy. Like he ain't having it.
You know, example of that, and this is why they say that so many people have been successful with Tom Brady, is Tom Brady demands.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
What'd he say?
We're gonna talk about Kerr next week. Just stay tuned, folks.
Yeah, so John, come back next.
Come back next week. We got something for Kerr.
But no, man, I just really believe that. I mean, the West is thick. There's a lot of volatility going on. You know, a lot of changes. The Lakers and Clippers, you know, what they do on a year-to-year basis to try to compete with each other. You know, for the Suns to do what they've done, for the Utah to do what they've done this year, it's been a lot. But let's keep it rolling. We got another set of rankum guys. Man, before the trade deadline, this rankum would have been a totally different type of rankum. But we got the Sacramento Kings. We got the New Orleans Pelicans and the good old Chicago Lavini Bulls. Rank 'em. Nate, what you got?
I'll probably put Bulls at 1. And it's going back and forth on this. Only because of where they're sitting at in the playoffs. Neither one of these teams are probably. I don't see either one of these two teams making it in, Kings or Pelicans. But I have Pelicans at 2 and Kings at 3.
Kenny?
Yeah, I think I agree with Nate. I think the potential of Chicago puts them, you know, Adam Vucevic puts them, you know, with Levine. I think that combination and marketing, I think that puts them at number 1. And then Zion is just a freak of nature, man. And then you got Brandon Ingram, who's like Kevin Durant 2.0. So
He reminds me
think,
of like Danny Granger, Paul George, young.
yeah, he's just so long and so
Did you say Kings or did you say Spurs?
No, Kings, Pelicans, Bulls.
Okay, because John Suggs says
he has Spurs. Yeah, so I gotta go. Yeah, I'm going New Orleans. I'm with Nate. Bulls 1, Pelicans 2, and the Kings 3.
All right, I'm going against both of y'all. Kings are obviously last. Marvin Bagley, De'Aaron Fox, they're moving in the right direction. They need a lot more help. The Bulls are number 2. The Pelicans are number 1. The Pelicans have Ingram. The Pelicans have Zion Williams. The Pelicans have a nice center back there and coming up. The Pelicans have Lonzo, who if they can
But will he be back? Yeah.
They can do a sign and trade to get something back for Lonzo. To me, they have the best under 25 player as far as abilities and ceiling. I think Zion has the most ceiling out of anybody in the NBA right now. Will he achieve? I don't know. I think he needs I think he needs more coaching. I think he needs to go sit down with like Akeem Olajuwon or Charles Barkley or some of these older guys that have done this for a while. He might need a Karl Malone type of training. But he just needs to be hooked up underneath somebody's wing. And I think New Orleans, with the team that they got set up, has a lot more ahead of them. I really do like marketing. I really do like Zach and Vucevic.
Yeah.
I really like that three-headed monster there, but I think that New Orleans three-headed monster is better. And then, of course, they got better supporting staff with Josh Hart and and they're gonna have another good pick this year. No telling who they get, in this draft when there's a lot of, I think, good players that are gonna work hard in the league coming out of this draft. No superstars besides Suggs maybe, but there's gonna be a lot of
Cunningham
players. I don't know if Cunningham's gonna be a superstar.
Yeah, I think him and Jalen Green. I think those 2 guys have the potential too, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're also young.
But, man, any closing statements today? Any closing statements tonight?
Yeah, I have one. It's actually baseball related.
Okay.
The extra inning rule still sucks, but I'm happy we won as the away team in the extra inning rule. Referring to Texas here, but
I gotta brush up on this actual extra inning rule. I glanced at it a couple times, but I didn't really go into it.
Second, the guy that got out in the 9th inning, the last guy to get out. Yeah, he's on second. Start at the start of the.
Pretty retarded. That's pretty dumb.
Yeah. For me, John Suggs, make sure you tune in next week because we're gonna go in on Steve Kerr. We got a topic for you that you don't want to miss. And then Jay, you're up tomorrow, right, for the debate?
Yes, I am. Tomorrow I will be right here debating, going after another win, man. I feel like I've been robbed these last 2 debate seasons, man. I was supposed to win both of them, if you ask me. But this time around, we're gonna bring home the title, y'all. We're gonna bring the title back to Real Talk. So,
one way or the other, either me or you.
Yeah, that's what I said. We're gonna bring the title back to Real Talk, y'all. We gotta bring the title back. So, that's what I'm gonna do, tomorrow. Y'all tune in for y'all can see that. The other thing is, remember the draft, WNBA draft was tonight. First time in WNBA history that they had the number 1 and the number 2 pick going to the same team.
And number 5.
Yeah, they had number 5. Yeah, but they've had multiple first rounders before, but never a 1 and a 2. But I think Dallas ended up picking Donna. Let me see real quick.
And shout out to Renea Davis. I'm in Jacksonville. So she's a Reball High School graduate. So she's a local product. So shout out to her. She went to the Minnesota, I believe it is.
That's what's up. Shout out to another homer, Ari McDonald, getting drafted number 3 overall in WNBA draft. That's an Arizona homer here too. So we get shout outs to there. But man, again, we appreciate how active you guys were today in those comments. Keep them coming.
Absolutely.
Share. Again, if you guys got questions, John, I see you out there. If you got something you want us to put on here, you got a question you want to do, record us a little snippet, send it to me, myself, Kenny, Nate, Freddie, usually on here. Chris Brown will be next week. Send it to any of us. We'll get you guys on here. We got a couple segments coming up that we're going to be jumping on the show soon. Try to give you guys some more content. There's other things you guys want us to touch on, let us know. But we really appreciate the love. And again, we'll see y'all on Monday. Come check me out tomorrow. Bring that championship back to Real Talk, y'all.
Yes, sir. Good luck.
Peace.